My name is Sarah Danziger, and I run the Education and Artist Programming here at CPW. And it is my pleasure to introduce the honoree for Photobook of the Year. We are all excited about Collaboration, a potential history of photography published the year by Thames and Hudson and edited by the stellar team of Ariella Aïsha Azoulay, Wendy Ewald, Susan Meiselas, Leigh Raiford, and Laura Wexler. Their revolutionary approach to the history of photography thoroughly explodes the notion of the solitary genius in photography. In over 100 carefully detailed case studies, the editors and their amazing contributors meticulously reveal the lone photographer auteur to be an invention, the product of a historically specific set of cultural beliefs in artistic originality and ownership of the image. Against this model, the editors show photography as an inherently collective practice, an enterprise involving friends, assistants, subjects, and other collaborators, willing or unwilling, whose various relationships, exchanges, and interactions inevitably contribute to the making of any photograph in the shaping, undoing, and transforming of archives. I encourage you all to check out this important book. 3 of the editors were unable to join us tonight. Ariella Aïsha Azoulay, Professor of Modern Culture and Media and Comparative Literature at Brown University. Susan Meiselas, a documentary photographer and president of Magnum Foundation. And Leigh Raiford, Professor of African American Studies at the University of California, Berkeley. But we do have the pleasure of welcoming Wendy Ewald, a photographer noted for her collaborative projects with teens and family who has taught at Bard College, and Laura Wexler, Professor of American Studies, Film and Media Studies, and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies at Yale University. Wendy and Laura, please join me on stage.
I think we decided that I would go first, but our hearts thanks to Brian Wallace and the CPW and everyone involved in this honor, this recognition of the work that we did on the book Collaboration. We thank you so very much. I just want to share one anecdote with you that seems fitting for this occasion. In 1969, when I was a special student at MIT, and Minor White was beginning the photography program there and setting up the space in the armory, we had an assignment to take a view camera and a black cloth and go out into the city of Boston and in 24 hours come back with 3 finished prints. And I've told the story before of what happened to me under the black cloth, seeing the world of Boston where I grew up, walking by upside down on the ground glass, which is that I immediately knew that this is where I wanted to be. I immediately knew. I was 19 years old, and I have not stopped the wonder of that in all these years. But what I didn't really fully understand is that falling into photography at that moment was also falling into a community, this community, a community far beyond us and far beyond what I could have at all imagined at the age of 19, including that I met, Wendy and I actually met at that point. We were some of the only young women trying to make something in this field, and it wasn't easy. So there's something to me very beautifully fitting about this book that we worked on for over 10 years. It's really 14 years together, which is about the idea that photography is always with and among others. And we thank you, the others and us, all of us, for this occasion. Thank you very much.
Well, also, Susan Meiselas was there as well. Those are 3 of us really started at that time. But I'd like to talk about the future for a second, and the future of CPW and this community. Many of you know, but in 2017, Kingston, New York became a sanctuary city. And many people who have immigrated to Kingston are primarily from northern Guatemala, and specifically the Department of Petén, but also Ecuador, El Salvador, and Honduras. Many students speak the languages Quechua or Mopan, as well as Spanish. And I'm really happy to tell you that we're trying to get an upcoming collaborative photography project with CPW off the ground, which involves students from these communities. So the idea is that we will be working with students enrolled in the English as a new language program at Kingston High School, and their teacher, Liz Olivier. The project will take place hopefully over the course of 2024 and 2025 school year, and will result in the production of a public art installation and book publication. During the program, these students will learn language skills or participate in language skills, verbal, written, and photographic, while telling their own stories about their families and communities, as well as fantasies, dreams, and challenges for their futures. Those of you who may be familiar with my work will know that it doesn't usually take place so close to my home. So I'm particularly excited by the prospect of learning and working within my own community, and particularly grateful to CPW for providing me, or hopefully providing me, with this opportunity. So everybody help. Thanks.